Hello, welcome to a quick playthrough of Grid Autosport, which is Codemasters' brand new racing game coming to PC, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. There are no new gen versions of this on June the 27th, which is super soon. So soon, in fact, it's barely a year after Grid 2. In many ways, Grid Autosport feels like a response to Grid 2 and to some of the less positive feedback from that game. I think I was one of the guys who was more down it than most, being someone who's a traditional fan of Codemasters. I've loved their games going back as far as the TOCA race driver game, TOCA touring car games even, on PlayStation 1, that's kind of how old I am. And Grid 2 felt like it was a real step away from that. It had more of an emphasis on kind of street racing, more of an emphasis on American stuff. And it felt like it went away from Codemasters' roots. It wasn't just the fact that it was going away from the roots. I don't think it worked particularly well, and I don't think it's achieved what it set out to. Its handling, particularly for me, was kind of all over the place, and its American twang it had was a bit unconvincing. And so Grid Autosport feels very much like the game I was hoping Grid 2 was going to be in the first place. It's very much returning to what Codemasters does best, and as you can see here, I'm sure a lot of people are overjoyed. It also has the cockpit view back in, which was an omission which quite a few people went a bit nuts over, understandably so, I guess, for a racing game. When Grid 2 came out, it's back in Grid Autosport. It's back in two flavours. This is the kind of more forward-facing one. There is one that steps back a little bit, and you can kind of see the steering wheels. It is blurred out a little bit. And here we are with the steering wheel on our hands. It's kind of defocused, desaturated a little bit, so you can see the track a bit more. They took inspiration, in fact, from the mods which came out soon after Grid 2 released, which were a hack to get a cockpit view in Grid 2. Anyway, it's back in there officially. It works really well. And what else is back is more motorsport, basically. What you're seeing here is a grid of Formula 3 cars, the Lara F312s to be precise. Formula 3 being the feeder series for Formula 1, and we are around the Jarama circuit, which I'm sure all you motor racing nerds will know was the scene of Gilles Villeneuve's amazing victory in 1981 in the Grand Prix, in which his fat, ill-handling Ferrari managed to hold off an entire field of much quicker cars. Quite a heroic effort. Not used that much today in motorsports, but a really good track to drive around. Lots of really nice blind apexes, a few nice dips. And kind of perfect for these quite skittish F3 cars to race around. The handling in this game is, for me, a lot better than the handling in Grid 2, and kind of back to what Grid did a little bit, with a little bit more nuance. It's not a sim, it's not set out to be a sim, and that's quite refreshing in some ways, as there are quite a few games out there, I won't name names, who pretend to be sims, and they're blatantly not. This, however, distills the essence of the cars it's trying to replicate, and it does it really well. These cars are really skittish, they've got a bit of downforce, but nevertheless you can feel them understeer, you can feel them oversteer, you can feel the slip angles of the tyres coming in. Also, what's really good about this game is the sense of racing, which is something not many games do as well. You get a lot of driving games out there, things like Gran Turismo and Forza. You don't get that many racing games which replicate the feel of being in a pack full of cars and going wheel to wheel with some quite combative guys. This does that really well. The AI is tuned to the point where it's not like the driver tires in Forza, where it's just super aggressive. There will be windows of opportunity, but they will also shut gaps in their race quite aggressively with you, and also you can get like a 5th place and you'll feel super satisfied with the 5th place. Single seaters aren't the only thing in Grid Autosport. There is also tin tops, there are GT cars. And it's spread out across a career, which again is a lot more like the first Grid. And so you have sponsors, you have a team, and you kind of get that together. And also Raven West, the evil guys from the first game, back. Basically, I think Grid Autosport is going to please a lot of the more traditional Codemasters fans. It feels like they're back to doing what they do best, which is more traditional racing games. And it does that really well. So I think a lot of people are going to be really happy. You can read some more detailed impressions from me, as well as some interviews with the Codemasters chaps on the site right now, but for now I shall leave you with the triumphant, well, kind of triumphant podium finish, 3rd place from this, and yeah, check back on the site for more stuff on Grid Autosport.